YNW Melly has been in jail for over 1,400 days. That's nearly 4 years of sitting behind bars, not knowing if he'll ever walk free again, or if he'll be sentenced to death. He's been accused of killing his two best friends, and the world has been watching closely, trying to figure out if the once-rising rap star is actually a cold-blooded killer. It's a story that's filled with pain, mystery, music, and violence, and the truth may still be hiding in the dark. Before the world knew him as YNW Melly, he was just a kid named Jamel Demons. He was born in Florida to a 14-year-old mother named Jamie. She did her best to raise him, and Jamel grew up bouncing between low-income housing and struggling neighborhoods. He never met his real father, and from an early age, he was exposed to violence. At just 9 years old, he found a real gun under a couch and pulled the trigger out of curiosity. That moment changed something inside him. He said it made him feel powerful. He fell in love with guns, with danger, with the feeling of control. By 7th grade, he was already bringing weapons to school and making disturbing threats. But despite his dark behavior, he also had a gift. He could sing, rap, and write songs that felt real. He poured his emotions into music and started gaining attention on SoundCloud. In 2015, he formed a rap group with his childhood friends. Christopher Thomas became YNW Juvie, Anthony Williams was YNW Sack Chaser, and Jamel called himself YNW Melly. The three were inseparable, they were brothers, and their music was starting to blow up. But Melly couldn't stay out of trouble. He was arrested at 16 for shooting at students in a school zone. After spending a year in jail, he focused hard on his music. He dropped a track called 772 Love that earned local buzz. Then came Murder on My Mind, a song he wrote while behind bars. That song would change his life forever. Murder on My Mind became a viral hit, but the lyrics were terrifying. He described killing a friend, watching him bleed out, telling him goodbye. It sounded like a confession. Some people said it was just art. Others believed it was a warning sign. His fans loved it. Labels noticed. And soon, Melly was rising fast. By 2018, Melly was working with big names in the music industry. Kanye West flew him out to LA after hearing his song, Mixed Personalities. The two made a music video, and Kanye even said he felt a deep connection to the track. Both men had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and Melly often talked about having an alter ego named Melvin, the evil version of himself. But just as everything was going right for him, it all came crashing down. On October 26, 2018, Melly's friend and fellow rapper YNW Bortlin drove to a hospital in Florida. In his car were the lifeless bodies of Juvie and Sack Chaser. Bortlin told police it was a drive-by shooting. He said the three were leaving a studio when another car pulled up and opened fire, but something felt off. Police couldn't find any evidence of a drive-by. No bullet casings on the road, no witnesses, no camera footage, nothing. So detectives started digging deeper. They found that the bullet holes in the car came from inside the vehicle. Not only that, but Melly had been sitting in the exact spot where the bullets came from. The wounds on the victims were close range, execution style, and the timeline didn't make sense. GPS data showed the group drove around for nearly an hour before going to the hospital. Melly left the vehicle just minutes before Bortlin pulled in. Then he FaceTimed his girlfriend and said it was a drive-by and that he needed help. The more police investigated, the more suspicious things became. Security footage showed Melly left the studio in the same car where the murders happened, not a different one, like some witnesses claimed. Phone records showed he was in the car the whole time. There were also shell casings found near a remote area, far from where Bortlin said the shooting happened. The crime scene looked staged, the wounds didn't match the story, and Melly's lyrics, tattoos, and behavior only made him look more guilty. But even with all that, there were still huge holes in the case. There was no murder weapon, no confirmed motive, and Melly's legal team said there was no hard proof that he pulled the trigger. Fans argued that his lyrics shouldn't be used in court, that he was just making music like every other rapper, but others said Melly crossed a line. He wasn't just rapping about violence, he might have actually done it. Then came the rumors. Some said Melly and Sack Chaser got into a fight over money. Others said there was jealousy between them. One even claimed they had a romantic relationship that ended badly. None of it was proven, but people were talking, and Melly's own mother went viral after saying on camera that Sack Chaser had threatened her with a gun. She said she had bigger guns. Was it just her being emotional, or was there more to the story? Melly's trial kept getting delayed. In 2019, he pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors said they would seek the death penalty. Melly kept smiling in court. He kept saying he was innocent. His music kept coming out. He even released an album called Melly vs. Melvin from Behind Bars. It went gold. His fans stayed loyal. But inside the jail, things were getting worse. Melly got COVID in 2020. He filed for release but was denied. He reportedly got into fights with guards and inmates. He lost his phone access. He was put in solitary confinement for 70 days. His teeth became infected from his diamond implants, but he wasn't allowed to see a dentist or even use floss. He said he was being tortured, and he begged for help on social media, calling out specific officers and saying he feared for his life. In 2021, his friend and co-defendant Bortland was released on house arrest. That was shocking, given the serious charges. Melly stayed behind bars, isolated, in pain. His legal team pushed for a speedy trial, but then they changed their mind and delayed it again. More rumors spread. One said Melly had pipe bombs and was planning an escape, but no bombs were found, just another story with no proof. By 2023, Melly had been waiting for years without a trial. The prosecutors had over 600 pages of evidence. They had GPS data, autopsy reports, and witnesses who had lied. But they still didn't have a weapon, or a clear motive, or anyone willing to testify against him. And that's what makes this case so shocking. If Melly did kill his two best friends, it would go down as one of the coldest betrayals in rap history. But if he didn't, then he's been locked away, tortured, and nearly broken, all while being innocent. The truth is, we still haven't heard his side. His defense hasn't spoken, and until they do, the full picture remains a mystery. This isn't just a story about a rapper getting into trouble. It's about a young man who grew up surrounded by violence, who used music to escape, and who may have been swallowed by the very darkness he tried to sing about. Or maybe he's just another victim of a system that's ready to judge before hearing the full truth. Either way, YNW Melly's world is disturbing. His songs, his past, his interviews, and his arrest all paint a picture that's hard to look away from. And now, with the death penalty on the table, the stakes have never been higher. We still don't know what happened inside that car on October 26th, 2018. But one thing is clear. When the full story comes out, it's going to shock the world.